Today's Rambam, Hilchos Sanhedrin, Perik of Beis, Halacha Dalet. Interesting concept that we find and the various approaches to it, which is the inyan of Pshara in Beis. Pshara is compromise, settlement that Beis makes. So let's read the Rambam and then see what comes out from him. A lot of chidushim from what he says and what he doesn't say. First of all, he begins. Mitzvah leima lebale dinim b'tchila. When the baladinim come in, there's a mitzvah to tell them right away. B'dinatam reitz b'pshara. What do you want? Din or pshara? Im ratzu b'pshara. Do you want a compromise or do you want law? Im ratzu b'pshara. Oisim b'neyam pshara. If they want a pshara, make a pshara. Chol bezdin sha'oisim pshara tamid. Any bezdin that constantly makes pshara, areza meshubach. Very praised bezdin. All of Nemar, mishpat shalom shiftu b'shareich. Now he brings a pasuk which the Gemara mentions, not about this. The Gemara mentions the Gemara pshara in general. Eizehu mishpat sheyesh imay shalom. Which mishpat has shalom avim is a mitzvah? That's pshara. Because there's walk away peace. We agreed on a pshara. We're at peace. At peace. Then he brings another ayah. He's a mishpat. Shares by imay tzedakah. Avim is a bitzua. Pshara. That is called pshara. Bitzua is pshara. Now comes Rambam with something that sounds like unbelievable chiddush, but it's not. He says it as if it's a big chiddush. After that, even though you heard, you know exactly the way it's, that this is a chiddush, and even though you know that one of them is right, this is the way it should be. Mitzvah, let's say, you still can encourage pshara. But after you made a gemadim, and you said, ish plain at the zak, ish plain at the chayim. Ain't there a shoylim klasim pshara b'neim? No pshara. Alika b'din azar. Now you got to go with din. What in the world was going on here? The guy in Manashach, I said, Bezdin Baskin, Yochai, Yozakis. The Shayna has this question. What do you think the guy's going to say? No, I want a pshara. And if they do want a pshara, why can't you make a pshara? So let's go through the main points of the Rambam. First of all, when Baladinim come in, you got to present to them both sides, pshara or din. Second, the preferable approach of a bezdin and the honorable approach of a bezdin and the praiseworthy approach of a bezdin is pshara. However, and this goes till the Gemara din, even though you know exactly who's chayiv. Go ahead. But if you say this plainly at the chayiv, and it's that guy, no. Okay, so I want to. This is a very, very, very interesting halacha, and what the Rambam shitta in this is. We'll see. This chiddush is a big chiddush, and what is he stressing so much, and what's it all about? This pshara. Well, let's see. There are three opinions in the Gemara that we need to know about regarding pshara. And there are extremes, two extremes, and middle of the road. One opinion is, Rabbi Elazar ben Shaviah Glili says, Osur libtzaya, don't make psharas. Eliyikav adinasar. Torah wants mishpat. Ki mishpat elikimu. Moshe said, he says, Chen Moshe yomer yikav adinasar. Aval Aaron oyev shalom reidav shalom meisim shalom ben adam Aaron did finagle. This way, I'm just using words here. Aaron finagled the shalom between them. So what happened? Was Moshe and Aaron different opinions? I don't know. But Moshe, Yikav Adinasar. Aaron could argue Moshe. Aaron's big enough. But he's saying Moshe held like that. Okay. So one opinion, Osur Liptzayah, it's Osur to make shards. Because din is what the Torah wants. Amishpat Likim. Rabbi Shiur ben Karcha, no, mitzvah Liptzayah. It's a mitzvah. And he goes with the Rambam, what we saw before. And this is Mishpat Sheyesh B'Tzedak. Now comes Shimon ben Manasseh. Now, on the surface, Shimon ben Manasseh might not be arguing, but the Gemara is going to say what they argue about. Shnaim Shemol v'Nechel, exactly what the Rambam says at the end. Till you don't hear what they say, or even if you hear and you don't know, then you can say, try to make up shar, or go make up shar. But once you've heard what they're saying, and you know where the din is naita, then you can't. Not like that. Because now you know that there's a din. So the Gemara goes on, what is the machlekes? It's the machlekes. Whether you could, you can't, whether it's a mitzvah, not a mitzvah, the Gemara ends up saying, that's the machlekes of Shimon Nasi and Rabbi Shimon Karcha. Rabbi Shimon Karcha is the extreme, which is the Rambam Shita. It seems Shimon Nasi is the middle of the road. You can do pshara until you don't know what the din is. Once you know what the din is, there's no pshara. Don't even think about it. And Rabbi Shimon Karcha says that, and I'm sorry, and Rabbi Elazar ben Yosef says, don't even make them pshara. Okay, so here's where the Rishonim get involved. Rashi says, like the Raman, what Nigma din means that they said Ishplain Izak, Ishplain Chayiv. Taisus asks, first of all, once you know that there's a din, and how would you be allowed to make a pshara? And then he asks, once they know already that how could you make a pshara after the din was made? Then who's going to make a pshara? So Taisus wants to say, don't mislead them and tell them, maybe we made a mistake. Maybe things are not the way we want. Interesting. And therefore go make a pshara, even though you know that you didn't make a mistake. And then they come along, and this is Rodan Halacha. If you mechayiv somebody a shvua, then you can go tell them make a pshara in order they shouldn't have to swear. Okay, now let me go through. There's a lot of discussion that I'm skipping because there's Rishonim that have answers to Taisus Kasha try to answer, but the Tur and the Mechaber add to the Rambam a few din. First of all, the Tur changes the wording and says, first tell him pshara, then din. You guys want pshara, then din. And the Beis Yosef is medagdik, that maybe he's trying to stress that since pshara is so important, always preface that. That's number one. The Mechaber brings halacha Shulchan Aruch that even though we say you can't make pshara after Bezdin, Paskins, however, if somebody comes along, a lawyer, an arbitrator, and he comes and he says, he's not a dayan, and he says, listen, I have an idea for you. Let's make a pshara. It's okay. He brings the halacha that Taisus mentioned. If there's a shua, you can make a pshara even after the Gemara. And then they add a line, which says in Shulchan Aruch, but the Rambam doesn't say it. Kishem shem muzer shlei lahata is din, kach muzer shlei enoite b'pshara le'echad yesachar. Just like you're not allowed to lean towards one person in a din, when it comes to pshara, you also have to be careful. Don't try to help one over the other in the pshara. In other words, don't give one of them a little more in the pshara than the other because you like him or something. Okay, the Rambam doesn't mention that. Why? Okay, so let's now analyze the words of the Rambam and see what he says. And I believe Rambam has a very interesting take on this whole issue. First, Rambam says that the mitzvah is to tell people, what do you want, pshara or not? So, what does it mean? Every bezin that makes a pshara, it's not up to them. What are you supposed to do? It's not in their hands. Okay, you can say, push him, try to find. Second is, where does he get this from? Doesn't say anywhere. Where does he get this? It's not mentioned in the Gemara. Third, after the Gemara din, as we said, how does he answer Taisa's question? And he can't answer like others answer that we should mislead him, like Taisa answers. The Rambam doesn't say that. When he writes that after the Gemara din, so okay, what's talking about? They don't want to make him pshara, of course. You can't force people to have pshara. And if you're saying they want to make him pshara, what's that? Ein rashos? That's ein rashos, even if they want to make him pshara. Why? He ends up with a loshon, eliyikay v'adin esahar. Din breaks through, make a hole in the mountain. Now, who says this? This is the Tanakama saying that he doesn't agree. He says Osel Tzayah. And he says Yikam Adin Azhar. But what does that have to do here? Why doesn't he bring the Mechaber's halacha of somebody who's not a dying could make a pshara? And why doesn't he bring the din of Shvuah? Okay, it could be he doesn't know that. Well, what does it mean? A guy on the street can't come in and come up with a pshara. And in the case of a shvuah, he doesn't bring it, which means he doesn't know it. Why? And why didn't he bring this halacha? Like that I shouldn't favor somebody in a pshara. So we mentioned before the three opinions, right? Rabbi Lezer, Osir, and he follows Moshe Rabbeinu, boom, Yikar Adin Asar. The extreme opposite of Shiur ben Karcha, mitzvah l'vtzaya. Not only that, even if you know the way the Rambam says, even if you know where we're heading to. Menashe, depending. When, if you know already, don't do it. What are you arguing about? And Moshe Rabbeinu's he's the originator of all Torah. Moshe Kibbel Torah Misinai. So what are we arguing about Moshe Rabbeinu? So perhaps what the machlekes here is, and that's the way the Rambam learned it, is they're not arguing whether you should make pshara, not make pshara. Then what is pshara? According to Rabbi Lezer and Rab Shimon, din is the mishpat that's mentioned all over. According to Rab Shimon, because in the Ma'ila of Shalom, there's an union of pshara. The machlekes between Rabbi Lezer and Rab Shimon is, when does it begin mishpat? When are we called we're in the process of mishpat that we can't get into Shalom anymore? Rabbi Lezer, the mishpat is immediate. Come to Bezin, mishpat. Therefore, no Shalom. Yikavad din is her. According to Rav Shimon Menashe, as long as you don't know what it is, you're still not in the mishpat stage. You can still make up shara. However, the Rishua learns that that's the whole word of the Rishua that he brings the Pesukim. Is that there are two types of mishpat. One mishpat that's din, and one is mishpat that's pshara. It's both mishpat. They're both under the heading of mishpat, and it's a bezendike din. And that's why it means the pasuk emes mishpat shalom shiftem sheichem. It's ezehu mishpat sheyesh. It's a mishpat sheyesh. Shara is a part of mishpat. However, there is a point, says Rabbi Shua, where din mishpat, the mishpat of din, cannot be turned into mishpat of shara. You cannot now replace it with the mishpat of shara. When is that? When there was a gemar din, ish plain izaka. Then you can't go to the other type of mishpat, which is, a judicial procedure. Judicial procedure requires you can do this only as long as I do this, but as soon as that, and then that's the judicial conduct that I have to have. That's pshat. Einoi rashoi lasis pshara b'nei. Of course they want a pshara. But Bezdin, mitzad koyach of Bezdin, can't make a pshara. If they want to work something out between themselves, go ahead, do what you want. They're not going to talk about a stranger coming in, the Mishaine Dayan, Rashoi Lash. Of course, anybody can make a pshara. Sure, you want to have ideas? Make ideas, come up with ideas. If two people in the street, walking the street together, and one guy has $1 million, the other guy has nothing, and they decide between themselves they're going to do something, he's going to give him some money, that's a doctor. It's a doctor of health face. But the Rambam on Einei Dayan is not a pshara. It's a business deal. Business deals are not belong in Hilchos Shaftim. That belong in Kinyan, and that's where business deals belong. So they're good. You want to give up your money? Good, be a nice guy. Give up your money. That's why he doesn't bring this other halacha. That kishem shemuzer shloy lahatis din. What do you mean kishem shemuzer lahatis din? This is also din. Pshara is din. So how can you be? We don't need a special halacha kishem shemuzer. Just like I can't be mazer, I can't change din of din. I shouldn't be able to change din of mishpat. I can't favor somebody in the mishpat of din. It would be a svara. I can favor somebody in the mishpat of shara. Why? It's mishpat. It's the same bezin. It's a bezin they can din. That's a din of bezin. Bezin is a din. Lemuzer shleilhatis. And therefore, the Rambam holds, even if they pass in shvua, you can't change it because bez this adin yikav adin sahar, and that's why he ends up with the word yikav adin sahar. That's why he ends up yikav adin sahar. Because even not that nobody argues on Moshe Rabbeinu. The question is, when is yikav adin sahar? Oh, at what point does the mishpat of din take over and yikav sahar? But of course, that's why he's using that expression. But shor is also din, part of the mishpat. But there is a point where once this din, then it's yikav din sahar. Then you can't use the mishpat of shor. And that's what yikav din sahar. And Aaron HaKohen maybe held no. I was a shalom even there. Do some kind, either do something, do make shalom without mishpat, like the case of Mishaina Dayan. And according to the Rambam, the mitzvah of tzaya is only that you got to tell the baladinim, but they're not the rest of b'shara. Oh. Here's where the Rambam gets this Meshubah. Since we see that if Kadim Gemar Din, even though you know Leheichan Adin Noit, we still have a din mitzvah liftzayah. So you have to say that there's some sure is so important. Even though I know the din is, I know this guy is supposed to get $100 and not 50, and I'm supposed to try to make him sure. So we see that Bezdin Shais B'Shayim Tam, I raise him a shubah. Why wouldn't it be a svara to go and change the din when I know who the din is? So there's a mile in the shalom of that comes out of pshara, that as long as there's no sort of chalais of mishpat of din, use mishpat of pshara. We ask, it's not totally in them. Obviously, we're talking about once it is totally in them. It is totally in them at the point where it is totally in them, that they have the right to do it. There, you got to be there's for shumach to always look for an angle of pshara. So, bottom line, according to the Rambam, pshara is din. Not only because they're mekabel upon them, because this is a chelik of mishpat. But there's and that's the shitta that the Rambam takes on according to Rabbi Lezer, I believe, and Rabbi Shiur, is that there are two gedarim, and that's why the Rambam does not bring all these things that Shulchan Aruch brings, and it could be that would work out very nicely in the Rambam. Anyway, Zayd Gesund, Tatzlocha Rabbah.